start recording.
Nick here. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna start recording. Hi, Steve Hodgson, June 22nd, 2022. And tonight we're gonna try to talk me out of my next great idea that Ladesha and I are hatching. So I've been on this, kind of do well by doing good thing, trying to help people get businesses up and launched. I love working with entrepreneurs like Lolly there in the corner. Lolly and I go way back. We've done, I don't know, a dozen projects with Glowflight and, and Sunrise Acquisition. We built houses, we rehabbed, we done all manner of stuff. Ladesha and I are, what's the total? It's five assets, counting the blank lots, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, so we're up to 5. I told her my stated goal was to get her to 10, but 10, that's 10 productive doors. Right? And tonight, my idea is how I can add 5 doors right away. Right? And so this is through, but let's, what should I do? Maybe I should do a screen share and take this from the top. Let's see, get my screen up. This is always the part that should be edited out. So I'm gonna go. Somebody's gonna have to tell me if I get the screen share right.
No, I don't see it.
No, not yet. Share screen.
There we go.
All right. And so I got Ladesha and I got talking about this idea, and she's working on the granular in her little town, and we participated in a meeting with some of the city folks that were trying to improve the housing in their community. And their approach was to help people build like 10 brand new $250,000 houses. And I've got this thing, and Ladesha, we talked about, you have to meet people where they are.
Right.
And nobody's got a $50,000 down payment. Not many people have a $50,000 down payment in Alexandria, Louisiana, that are renters that want to be homeowners. So I got chasing around this idea of, what do you do with vacant lots? Do you buy adjudicated property from the city? We're talking with Ms. Williams in Alexandria. It's going too slow. I want to buy stuff, and I'm ready to start, but I think we can buy lots for $1,000, right? If we've got something to do with them, right? So there's this whole thing, and I got this up here. There's this whole thing about reclaiming vacant properties and getting rid of blight, putting in gardens, putting in new kind of housing, all this kind of stuff. And it's a combination of a lot of missionaries that are trying to save the world, and maybe a few mercenaries like me that are trying to do something good and make a buck. Right. So I think that's where I'm heading. And so there's this whole national thing about it. So that gives me some feeling that I'm on the right track. So we have a lot called 2164 Harris. Maybe we shouldn't delve into this quite so fast. I'm going to stop my screen share and let Ladesha maybe step in for Ms. Webby a little bit and talk about what this potential program is. You want to do that?
Yes.
Want to tell us what this idea is?
Well, the idea is to help the re-entering citizens obtain housing where, it's a problem when They call them now reentering citizens. And I'm trying to remember to say that instead of prisoners coming back into the community. But reentry solutions, and I actually, I'm just gonna read it because I printed it out. But reentry solutions host a variety of job training and life skills seminars. They help the reentering citizens compete for a job, obtain stable housing, support their children and family, and contribute to the communities. So basically, they serve about 10 parishes here in Louisiana. When the reentering citizens come out of prison, they go to them for how to obtain jobs, job training, things like that, skills. They give them Medicaid. They help them set up everything coming back into the community to try to get them back on their feet. Right now, they don't have grant. They're trying to obtain a grant, but they don't actually pay for their housing. So that's one of the problems that they have right now. They have no funds to help these people, put down for rent or deposits or any of that. And it's a limited amount of housing because a lot of people don't want felons or any of those people, they don't want them living in their places for whatever reason. It's also hard for them to get employment. So reentry solutions, they are the go-to when you're coming out of prison. They go there and just try to help these guys, ladies, gentlemen, whatever, regain some type of sense of coming back into the community, as best as they can. Ms. Rebby, who was one of the former advocates with Reentry Solutions, she was supposed to be on the call tonight, but unfortunately she hosts another camp for children or whatever, so I guess she didn't make it. But she was one that when I first heard about them, she and I connected, and she started, I have a construction company, so she started sending me some of the guys, and that's how we connected. How I would, and that's another thing that would work well with me and them, or us and them, is because I could offer them employment. So I'll know for sure they're going to pay, for their rent and everything. But one of the guys that I had, he didn't have his tools and stuff like that. So initially, that's how he, when he first started working with me, I just bought all his tools, and that's how I paid him until he got on his feet. But they are really one of the bigger programs out here. I mean, we have a couple, 2 or 3 programs, but they are one of the larger programs that really are helping the reentering citizens. And I know that these HUD homes would be perfect for them because nobody's really helping.
So you have to, you consider who this person is. And I like the re-entry and the, idea. It has a certain amount of respect, I think. So there's this is transitional housing. You're not looking to give somebody a place that they're going to stay for years. You're looking. This is short-term rental, maybe, with a fair amount of work that's going to be involved. And this is not every one of these people is going to be successful. You're going to have to, if you're going to do this at some kind of scale, you have to maybe you have to separate men and women into different structures. You have a lot of things that you're going to get to do. But it's also is, how do you do this at a reasonable, at an affordable price point? So if somebody was getting a Section 8 voucher, which is kind of what I'm thinking here is, for a 1-bedroom studio, would that be like a $500 payment or a $600 payment? Okay,
Yes,
so we have
about $500.
so we have a tenant that's going to pay $500. You can do that, put them in congregate housing. You could have 5 bedrooms in a house and have 5 of them, and now you've got $2,500, and that's great. But some people are going to want individual residents. They're going to want to have some autonomy. I'm going to start with this. Let's see. Now, what's on my screen? Do we have a picture? Do we have a picture of a mobile home?
Yeah, we have a picture. Let's see.
Of a 5-bed, 5-bath? Is
Yeah.
that what I have here?
Yeah, this is the 5-bedroom, 5-bath kitchenette.
Okay, so what I picked for an example is a single wide mobile home that is been designed to be little efficiency apartments. Each one of these is about 230 square feet. So
Right.
the person gets a private bath and a kitchenette. And from where they were a week ago to coming into this isn't so bad.
Right.
This is something that they can start to build from. Now, there's a bunch of pieces that have to go into this, about connections with the probation department, and how do we monitor all this stuff. But there's a lot of services that can be plugged in to take care of all of that care that these folks need to be successful. I'm gonna change, and let's see if you can change with me. Bethany over at the vendor who has these units for sale gives me, all right. This is an example of these units. Some of them will come furnished. You can have them with or without kitchens. You could have 4 bedrooms and a communal living room. You could have 3 units, 5 units, 2-bedroom apartments. Some of them are brand new. So this is what the little studio apartment looks like. I think this is pretty darn nice.
It's really nice.
Right? Look, it's they got a stainless refrigerator. I don't have a stainless. I'm kidding. But look, it comes with a TV. What more do we want? So here's 5 doors, right? 5 doors at $500 a month, $2,500 gross. Cut it in half, and if you spent $1,200 a month maintaining and turnover and all this stuff, that'd be plenty of cushion, right? Right? Because there's 5 units together, your daily overhead for service calls and all that is much less because you're going to 1 unit. So hey, I can come and fix unit 1 and unit 3 next Tuesday, that kind of thing. When I ran a property management business, what killed that was 160 units spread over a 30-mile radius. And it was, I lived in the van going from place to place. It was terrible. So 5 in one place is a little apartment building, right? If you can nestle these in neighborhoods where you can get 5 here and 4 here, and maybe you can get to 20 doors. If you had 20 of these, well, now I'm interested. Now the mercenary is like, oh, okay, there's something here now, right? 5 doesn't work. 1 house doesn't work, right? It's the start. That's the start. You have well proven yourself. So we can go from 1 door to 5 doors to 10 doors. So the next slice to go at is like, well, I'll take a moment. Does anybody say, this is a terrible idea, don't do it, before I pull back the curtain and take a look at numbers? Do you have any questions? Anybody want to say, no, stop?
Do it. Pull that curtain back.
Well, you're not fair because you're just as goofy as I am. Okay, I'm gonna go to, I have to change, hang on, I gotta go catch up the screen, and I'm gonna go to the little spreadsheet. So we use a,
Can I ask you a question?
yeah.
So who's making the payment if they're just coming out of, incarceration? Is it the government, or is it like a Section 8 kind of deal that they're making the payment?
Well, no, before they even actually move into any of these houses, the reentry solutions is encouraging them to go and live with family or friends or something like that. So they help them find employment first and make sure they have some type of way of paying their own rent. And then that's where I would come in and offer them one of these places. Now, I also have LaPrayere. His name is LaPrayere. He has this nonprofit that he pays first 2 or 3 months of their rent. So that is another option. He's really the only one around here doing that. So it's kind of limited, but he is offering that.
And if you were here in California, you'd be getting a $2,000 government check for your disability for depression.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So the point about who's paying for it, the mercenary in me is entirely focused on getting money paid. I want the government to be my tenant. Right?
All right.
So through Section 8, through disability payments, through any kind of assistance. And in this particular part of the world, there's a lot of focus now on stopping recidivism of people going back and just going through the revolving door, going back to prison. So I see this idea of, we can start you here in your little efficiency apartment, you get your legs underneath you, and then what a surprise, LaDacia has a nicer place for you to move into. Right. Oh, and by the way, LaDacia also has full-time work if you're really willing to put some effort in. And there's, and so we get, it has to be a community of people there that want to drive this, and we're simply the bank helping write grants. How many do I need to set up another 501c3 charity that can dip into other federal pockets? On a completely different aside, once a month, I take 100 sandwiches down to the homeless shelter here in town. It's something that I got my Rotary Club to do, and I deliver these sandwiches. I just drop the sandwiches off. And the people waiting in line for sandwiches aren't homeless people. They're not all homeless people. They're people that are between, right? And so there's lots of different, if you can get consensus, if you can get community of the community organizers, then they can keep something like this afloat, right? And so you take a mobile home, you get it delivered. The vendor has them new and used. Some of them are HUD qualified homes. Others have been field work homes that have come like out of the Bakken oil fields that, when all the fracking shut down, these things were sitting, laying idle, and they're being relocated. So I'm going to jump into just quickly look at numbers and to say, is this feasible? That's the other part, is this, can you even do this? Okay. So if I've got, we see a spreadsheet called
Yes.
Harris cost. Okay.
Yes.
So this is a property that you own.
Yes.
Right? This is a property you own. So we already have the dirt.
We have it.
Right? We already have the dirt. It has plumbing and electric at the curb. right?
Yes.
It's all it needs is a building.
That's right.
So if I buy a really nice one of these used units, it's $100,000. Right? So they can be 70,000. They depending on the number of bedrooms, like the size and all that. But I figured let's start with 5 units. So it's $100,000. I made a very low guess on what setup would be. It's probably more. It's probably double this. It's probably, you know, could it really be 50,000? Probably not.
No.
No, right. You know, so if you put it on piers, not jacks, if you bolt it to something that will qualify as a foundation, you can get FHA financing on this. We can get was it 203 K or something? There's rehab loans. There's different ways to find, again, some government money towards this. And so so I plugged in a monthly payment just for fun. The property taxes are not $250 a month. The property taxes are probably $50 a month, right? And so and I said, well, even if you're going to put these things together and then sell them, what would they sell for? I think they would sell for at least 150,000, probably way more, because they're already cash flowing. You've got a gross cash flow of $2,500 a month. So that's $30,000 a year. If half of it went to expenses, then that property is earning $15,000 $15,000 for the investor, plus depreciation. And it's almost all depreciation because it's the mobile home on a piece of land that cost $3,000, right? And all the hookup work, all the new work that gets done, 70% of that will be deductible in the first year. So you can for an investor like me, you can generate a loss, which is useful to offset against other income. What did you had one of these? Did you added some stuff to this sheet?
On the scope, yes.
Scope?
Just installing the electrical, if there's in the sewer line and HVAC.
Because there's some complexity to the sewer line. You've got to put in 5, right? Or some way to do that. You know, the city will tell you what they'll allow. All right. So you came up with a maybe 16,800.
Right. That's a little high.
So if we budgeted 25, then we think we're safe. We think you might be safe. And
Yes.
I'm not of course I'm not going to hold you to any of these numbers. So from the so we go back to the mercenary side. It is certainly not an asset that's going to appreciate greatly, right? But it is nearly a fully depreciable asset in terms of tax credit. It looks like with the right operator and the right team that you can keep this full, right? You could keep 5. You could keep it full, or 4 out of 5, right? You know, there's always somebody coming and going, right?
Right. When I spoke with Valerie Dodson, she is the employment coordinator right now with Reentry Solutions. She told me that the amount of reentering citizens they get fluctuate. In May, they received in May they had about 25 people come through, and then in April they had 25 people come through, and in May they only had 5. So, I mean, it's gonna stay revolving.
Right, and but we know that the raw materials are being created every day through arrests, convictions, and sentencing, right? So
Right.
all those people are going to be coming back through, and you're not looking for 100% success, but in a short-term stay like this, like a 90-day stay, maybe longer, and then graduating up to better housing that you could also provide. And again, then the ones that can take full advantage of all the social services that are available and all the little pockets of money, they can stay out of trouble. They can, it's, we just need someplace to go all day, or we're gonna, cause we're gonna get bored, right? So
The flip side to it is I was also approached by another group but they have women. And I mean, I'm not biased if it's women or men, but the women actually have more programs that actually, that where the government is paying for their rent. So that is a
So I've got experience around rehab centers and sober living houses, and women, to be generalist, do well in a communal setting. So you could get a mobile home unit that was 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms with a larger communal area with a living room and a fuller kitchen, and allow them to have some space for the kids to visit and all that kind of stuff. And those people, and in a setting like that, you may have people stay a year or more.
okay with a place like that where they can kind of commune together.
Yeah, or that can be the next step up for people graduating through the whole reentry. They can move into. So if you had these little studios, and then maybe they move up to a nicer place, and then then make their own way. But a lot of this depends on, like you said, there's the women. Depending on who you are, what your issues are, dictates what level of support you have. So we're $1,800. I guessed 25. Just to plug a number. I said if I sold it, we'd get 142. I've got some carry costs maybe if I'm going to keep it. I plugged in a 9% note to make it interesting to somebody who was a private investor looking for a decent return. So we could be all into this for, call it $50,000, and be able to make some. I think I think this is a pretty good success story if it happened. Yeah, and so again, let's take a pause here and let people poke holes in this. This one of the questions I had to answer was, is the juice worth the squeeze? This is a lot of work, right? This is going to be ongoing, a lot of work, and I think it's got to be more than just one, right? So you can't be the solution to for all of Rapides Parish, but I think there's a larger need for all kinds of social service housing like this, homeless prevention, mothers and children running from abuse, all kinds of stuff. And this could be a property management business unto itself.
So I see what you're saying. If you can't just start with 5. Well, you can't just end with 5.
Yeah. It doesn't. I'm going to lose attention in 3 months, right? It'll be done. right? And so Nick is on the call, and Nick will tell you that I'm just a butterfly, and I keep floating from one thing to the next thing, and I'm giving lip service to settling down, but I really have to, pick things that are scalable. It's got to be repeatable and scalable, because it takes just as much time for me to manage $100,000 project as $1 million project, and I might as well manage $1 million projects, right? And you'd want me to do that too.
Right.
Lolly at Glowflight wants me to do that too. We're still working through getting plans together to build 12 townhouses. Right? I didn't want to build 1, 3. No, I wanted to, if it's not a thing, and Eric, I mean, something like this would work in Pensacola. It's the same struggle there of people coming back, being re-entering there. This is I'm trying to get the juice for the squeeze is more doors, right?
Well,
More
it's
doors,
interesting,
more doors,
Jason.
more doors.
Steve and Ladesha, somebody was just talking to me today about, and Steve, you had shown this to me, and there's a guy that's trying to get together a, God, not our homeless, but for people that have been kidnapped. Shoot, I can't think of what it's called right now. I just had a mind block. And there's a guy I'm not allowed to talk about him, but he's going and he's recovering people that have been taken.
The trafficking?
And trafficking, thank you. And they're recovering them, and they're starting a little commune in this area, and they're looking for housing to put them in. So that thing, I don't know anything about the finance side. Just an interesting thing more for the. I'm off topic. I'm going to sign off here for a second and be quiet.
Well, let's go right with that. Does a 4-bedroom one of these fit for that need? You've got a lot, right? You've got 50th that we haven't done anything with.
Yeah, this is, I don't know. It's very interesting.
These units are sitting in Louisiana. Before my issue was they were in Texas. Getting things from Texas to Pensacola was expensive. These are in central Louisiana.
Mm-hmm. We'll have to talk later.
Right.
That sounds very interesting.
Right.
I don't want to take Ladesha's inventory either. Lots of units.
The email from her.
The whole list.
What does she say? She really wants me to buy something. She's been working really hard with me. 10 used 5.5s with common area furnished, 20 used 4-plex, 7 used 2-bed, 2-bath duplexes, 13 used 3-bed, 3-bath, 8 used 3-2 traditional HUD units, 10 used tiny homes if anybody would like it.
Right.
So, and these folks have been around a long time. They are not the missionaries. These guys are mercenaries. They're gonna make some money on these sales. But they like what we've been talking about. So they've been leaning in, trying to get us to get started. They like the do well by doing good idea. What other?
Are they all in Louisiana?
No, this company is centered in Texas. My other mobile home source has a plant in Georgia. And I don't have anything special. I don't have like some secret code that gets me half off. But what I do have is a little bit further up the delivery line. You know, we've built a little relationship, and they've been very helpful with education and making sure I understand setup cost and delivery, and the nuances of mobile homes. They've said again and again, you only want to move these things once. Yeah, so they're not mobile.
So you need a foundation already built up.
Well, in order to qualify it for federal fund, well, although there is now a mobile home federally approved fund, so they are buying. So FHA or Fannie is buying some, but the traditional way you do this is you attach it to a foundation, and now it qualifies for single family home financing.
Are these cheaper than these? I don't know if you've seen these modular homes that they I don't want to call them a refab, but like ADUs that they've been. Have you seen those?
I am fascinated with a company in Las Vegas called Boxable.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
that,
right.
actually.
And Boxable, the flatbed comes up and there's a stack like this. They take it off the flatbed and they put up the walls and they put the roof on it, and it's done.
Done, exactly.
Yeah. And they were listing those in their promo at 50,000, and they're more like 80,000. And there's a couple of year wait since they haven't built the factory yet. Yeah, they've built enough to prove the concept. They've got something like 80,000 back orders. And that is just wonderful stuff. This is old school, traditional mobile home construction. You know, it's going to be 1x2s instead of 2x4s. It's what it is. Although if we looked at that video, the interiors were done just fine, right? You know, luxury vinyl plank, you know, good touch and feel structures. But this is not California, you know, beach housing. This is habitat, which is why I think I've got, you know, a price point that matches. John posted a question. Well, why not do one first? Oh, absolutely. We have to do proof of concept. We would have to do proof of concept all the way through. The easy part is LaDacia putting it together and turning the lights on and saying we're open for business. The hard part is going to be maintaining all these relationships, keeping good connection with the probation officers and the tenants and the social service people, and you're going to find new needs. You know, you might, you know, every rehab facility that I've worked with over the years needs a meeting space for AA or NA meetings. You know, so they need all of them need a big room, right? That kind of thing. And so there's always stuff, right? Well, you know, what do you do if you get somebody that needs that needs assisted living, handicap kind of things, right? So that's going to be the learning. That's why I can't do one. I mean, by the time we know how to operate one, the next five are just rinse and repeat. But it's learning how to operate one of these is going to be a lot of work.
That is sound like a lot of work, because you got to maintain the relationship. You know, every 6 months you have a turnover. You know, someone turning over.
Yeah. So
are you going to hire someone to do that? I mean,
she'd absolutely have to. Yeah, she would absolutely have to.
So you have an overhead now. So.
Yeah. And that's why I was guessing it. If you only cleared 50%, and you really should clear more, then you can afford to have people handling what they're supposed to. And a lot of
25 minutes, I would say.
Yeah. It's, you know, I look at doing other kinds of group housing. Here in California, if you run a senior care home for with light medical support, just having a CNA or an LVN on staff all the time. The state pays $4,000 a month per bed. Right? So, so why not do that? I looked at one of those last week when I was in Southern California.
That sounds more attractive.
Right. But that's so it comes back to the do well by doing good thing, and the LaDacia and the economics of her town are different than most of us are California folks. Here, there you just have to cut off a zero. Just cut off a zero. That's what you got to deal with, and there's still the same human need that I feel compelled to try to pay some attention to. So we can get this started and fund a couple and gather some money, do a couple more, and get that moving. Or like I said, just as easily, I could go buy an assisted living house here in California, but then I'm going to have a $5,000 or $6,000 a month carry cost, right? But if you run a some sort of skilled facility, and I wouldn't say a drug rehab. It's just too much drama. But senior housing, it's $4,000 to $5,000 a month. So call it 4. If you have 5 beds, that's $20,000 a month. Staff is going to chew up half of that, so now you're down to 10. You got to cover the mortgage and running a house. There goes another 5. Now you're down to 5,000, and that's still pretty good. But that's only one, and that only takes care of 5 people. And maybe we can take care of 20 people and make the same money. So there's an impact. There's a magnification of how many people you can help in an environment that doesn't have the California real estate costs. I don't know what what Louisiana pays for residential senior care. I have no idea, right? But it's another door. So, but it comes back to the mercenary side of me: is how can I buy a door cheap, and how can I rinse and repeat? So yes, I could do just one California house instead of all of this work. But where's the fun in that? Right? And,
couple comments for you both. In California, we have density issues as well that restrict on the local level where, right, we can't have 4 or 5 units on a small lot without the parking. So is it expected the tenants would have cars? Was a question that came up in my mind, and another one was about security deposits. Do you expect to have a security deposit from this tenant demographic? And that would be, of course, not for rents, but damages and furniture expense, which could add up really quickly.
And there will be damage, right? Stuff that's going to be at least wear and tear.
But you sent me something about the insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So that could come into play for them, being that they don't, they may be challenged with finances and everything right now. That insurance waiver would help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's Nick, there's a company selling a down payment insurance policy. So the tenant doesn't have the $500 down. They get an insurance policy that sure looks like a loan, because they're going to pay back $600 on the $500, and they make monthly payments to a third party. It doesn't help the quality issue with the down payment and the tenant relationship, but it does provide some cushion to do that for that. But yes, you're right. The person coming in isn't going to have a 1 month deposit and first and last. They're not going to have that, right? Unless you find some other governmental source that'll cover that, right? You got $1,000 move-in check every time. That might do it. And if fiscally that's what you see you need to do, now you got something to work with. I need $1,000 to move these people in. The reentry program. How do we go find it?
Right.
So I'll give to the point that it's too small, which is too small per door, but again, that's regional, and I think we have to make something that's repeatable, right? And and after you've done one mobile home, the next one will be easier, and the next one, and the next one.
Right.
So, Nick, you want to poke any more holes?
What size lot do you need to put one of these on, do you think, in the areas that you're looking at?
I have the lot that I currently have. It's 2/10 of an acre, so that is plenty enough room for this unit.
So there's an adjudicated property list. So Alexandria has suffered the same sort of blight that's happened in all the flyover part of the country. The jobs left, the houses, from the turn of the century, all rotted, and they got bulldozed. So there's a fair amount of blank real estate that's owned by the city or parish, and we left off with that we could buy for like 1/3 of appraised value, something like that.
Right, 2/3.
So 2/3. Okay, so
Third.
they would put a $1,500 valuation on a 1/4 acre. You could buy it for 500 plus another, $500 or $1,000 in fees.
Because the lot that I currently have, I bought the lot right next to it. And so all I have to do really is just tear that house down. And if I just wanted to expand, and give them more room or something like that, I could just tear that house down because it was a burnt house on that lot. So, it's 2 lots side by side, same size. It's plenty room.
So at some point, the city's gonna make you tear that house down, right?
In about 3 years. They're giving me 3 years.
This is in Louisiana, you said?
It is.
What county is that?
Parish is Rapides.
So just take a quick second and tell us again, because you told us a few episodes ago or months ago, why are you there? Why aren't you someplace else? What makes you stay there?
This is home. It's home. And, this is where I need to be. This is where I need to be. People need help here. And I can do that. I can go anywhere. I can be anywhere. But this is home. This is where I'm rooted. And this is where I'm supposed to be.
Okay. And that's why I bought in. Right? Right? That's why I bought it, because you are emotionally connected to this town. Right?
Tried to leave several times. I've left 7 years. I came right back. Yeah. It's home.
And the Daspit house that took me 3 years in foreclosure to get back that I sold you. That house was destroyed by the time that you got it. It had turned into a crack house. It was a trap house. It was awful.
That I called you, called you yesterday. You know how much that cost to get the AC fixed?
Yeah.
$200.
You're kidding. You're kidding. All this.
It all that, all
Okay.
that. You told me to take the emotion out, and when I did that, I called two different HVAC people out. One, they tried to get me. They tried to get me for $5,800, and I said, you know what? Let me go a different route. So I called another one out. He said you only need a pump, and I said, oh really? He's like, yeah, done. $200. Yep. I said,
And now you
God,
have a happy tenant.
yeah, she's happy. Look, she sent me a emoji of blowing me a kiss.
Okay. All right. And she pays the rent on time.
Yes. Oh, all the time. On the first
All
of
the
every
All right. Just like you do.
month. Right? Got it.
And
Yep. Oh, and I wanted to put it out, but no. It worked. It worked. Thank you.
I'm looking at the screen, and between Nick, who's the majority, you and Lolly there, this is I need to add like 2 more people, and it'll be my whole tribe. You know, this is I mean, I'm very grateful that you're here. So we'll go play with this a little bit more. I want to take as much risk off of this as we can, like people lined up and waiting, money sitting in somebody's hand to hand to you, and get you on the phone with Bethany to say, okay, what's to really take the movies and set them up. You know, a little research on what type of moorings they need to go on. They don't need to go on a full foundation. They go on cement piers, and then it's a house. Then it's a house. It's not mobile anymore. It's bolted down. Because we have to look at takeout, right? Because that's the only way you're going to be able to get to more units is if you can get bank financing. So I'm thinking of us as transactional financing, and then we're able to step out and roll the capital over to do the next one, do the next one, do the next one.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks everybody. Anything else, Nick?
Yeah.
Any updates? Oh, John wants to know any updates on the Arizona property. Let's see. We sold all the lots. They went for full ask. The house that I was working on, we wound up going and renting a different one. The seller is busy with other families, like 4 heirs that own it, and they couldn't come around to when could they get the furniture out. Well, we're not sure. Well, we need to leave somewhere. We need to live somewhere. So that's still out there. The conversion of 4 bedrooms, we didn't even get that far. We didn't even get that far. We got to a general discussion of about $350,000 for the house, and then interest rates jumped. Things got weird. I haven't even suggested that maybe we ought to take a little bit off, but it's just sitting because the seller is just busy. But he knows I'm here, and it's somebody I know locally. So one of the heirs is a local guy who grew up in Tucson. But, yeah, that'll get done. That'll get done, or it won't get done. What I'm looking forward to there is my son's moving there, and I'm going to get to introduce him to a couple of people I know down there that are serious real estate folks. So anyway, all right. That'll do it. Oh my goodness, we're going to keep it to just an hour. All right. Well, thanks all. And Ladesha, go do some homework. All right. And let's figure out how to move this along. Thank you. And thanks,
Thank
Nick,
you.
for coming in. Good to see you, Azaria. All right.
Nice meeting you guys.
Good night,
Thanks,
y'all.
Steve.
Yeah. All right. And if anybody I guess most of you guys know that all this goes up on YouTube, so you can go find it. You can go find the last now 2 years worth of these things sitting up there. Anyway, so
One question before we guys go. Are you
Sure,
guys,
sure.
Ladesha, are you trying to raise capital to build these out?
go like this.
Yes.
Go
Yes.
like this.
Yes.
No,
I am.
I'm
It's
encouraging.
always yes to money.
Yes.
I'm encouraging growing the team. That's what I'm
Okay.
looking to do. I'm encouraging growing the team, and it's a personality fit as much as it is a money expectation fit. I'm not going to go start a fund or do any big dollar kinds of things. I'm just looking if we can pair people to do projects that do good. I think that's the thing. And at some point I'll carve out some time to look at what would happen if things were done in a charity, or some part of it was done in a charity. So anyway.
Yeah, I
But
see
that-
that. No, my
yeah,
question was because since this is a good deed, I see, it's not like it's a money losing project. It's still, even if it's breaking even, if you're doing it as a good deed, I guess it's not a bad deal.
Yeah, and if you get a depreciation on a K1,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah, you get a depreciation on a
Eventually.
K1 to say thank you, and a check when it's solvent. So.
Yeah, and if it gets duplicated enough, it should be even more profitable.
Yeah, because because she'll get better at it. She can clean up a house and get it on the market pretty darn fast. We've proven that.
So how
Yeah,
much are we talking about trying to raise for it? Is that the 100,000 that you were talking about, or is it
Yeah,
50,000?
it's we take some help to do the first couple. I think I'd split that with somebody.
Okay.
And so we have to think about revenue share and that kind of thing. But we ought to do that. We ought to have that conversation this wasn't a call for funding. This was a talk about about who we are.
Okay.
I'm gonna put my phone number in the and you want to just text me your info, and we can schedule a call and get to know each other and see what you're doing, what I should be doing with you, and what we're doing, what you should be doing with me, and Nick will try to keep me from breaking Security and Exchange Commission rules. Nick's my partner, sorry.
Okay. All right.
And the day job. And Eric and I have done 12, I think it's 11 or 12 projects over the last 6 years. Mostly I've just been the funder. And Ladesha, we've got, like you said, it's five properties now, right? Three paying rentals and 2 blank lots just waiting for a mobile home to be put up.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, nice meeting you guys.
All right. Thank you. All right. Good to see you. Okay. All right. Everybody have a good night.
Good night, y'all.
All right.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you.
Good night.